And we are back just like that, y'all. We are back in business. We're live again on YouTube. Felt like just the other day I was live on YouTube. Now here we are again, right? All right. How is everyone doing out there in YouTube land? Jonna says, welcome to the greatest show ever in the history of YouTube. Wow, what a way to get us started. Such a lovely comment by one of my lovely moderators. Think it's going to be a good night. All right, I see we have a couple super chats that came in before I even kicked off the show. Holy cow, you guys are awesome. I know for sure we're going to have a good time now because we got a super chat coming in from Raw Onions. And he says, hi, Jake, could you please start your show with a what's up to get everyone's blood pumping? Shout out to my friend Big D tuning in. Shout out to Big D. And since you are the first super chat donor of the night, before we even got the show started, I shall fulfill your request, sir. Drum roll. Brrr. Ho was it? Up. There you go. That's how you know you guys are going to get a very serious show filled with some very serious truth, right? That's how you know you can trust me. That's how you know that I'm real, is because I do the best was up in the world. So much so that people pay me to do that. Yeah, you might think it's stupid, but there's people out there who think it is fucking awesome, and that's why they send me money so that I keep doing the most awesome, amazing, best ever was up that anyone ever fucking did. And you know why? That's because I am the best was upper in the motherfucking titty sucking world. That's right. Titty sucking. There we go. That's the way I like to start my show. All right. LaFleur says, looks like a classic Jake the Awake stream. Well, we're starting it out in classic form, right? You guys get a was up, starting out with some super chat love, which I greatly, greatly appreciate. All right, got all my party people in the house here. Good to see. All right, 1 second. Let me check in on the watch page. See how many thumbs up we got starting the show. I see 56 thumbs up. Guys, come on. Show your boy some love on a Saturday night and pump the algorithm right here, right now to start the show. It'll get me all fired up. Hook me up with some thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. All right. We got some gas in the tank. Raw Onions and Davey D. LaFleur coming in with some super chats before we even started. Good times. It's going to be a good one tonight. All right. Nate X the Original says that's the best kind of world. Excerpts from the Flat Earth says definitely not AI. You guys, you know for sure I'm not AI, because would AI do this? What? I don't know. Me. Would AI do that? No. But that's some crazy shit that I would do. So you know for sure that it's the real me and not AI. Right? AI would never think to do something like that. Only I would think to do something like that. I think I'm the only guy that's done that today. Made all those noises in that order. Pretty sure I'm the only one in the entire world that did that today. Did you do something unique to yourself today? Probably not. What the hell am I talking about? That's a weird way to start the show, right? Whatever, I guess I'm a weird guy. Yahweh is my God just became a YouTube member. Yahweh, he's my God. He became a member right now. Yes, Yahweh, he's my God. He became a member right now. Cha-cha-cha. There you go. That's your special welcome to the members club song that I just made up just now. All right. There we go. Yes. This is how you know you're getting the best truth on YouTube, right? When you start out with a "what's up" and an AI joke and a welcome to the members club song. I mean, that's how you know you're about to get hit with some serious truth. But seriously, tonight I am going to hit you guys with some truth, right? I got a old clip to show you guys, and I got some new clips to show you guys. We got something old, we got something new. Going to be breaking it down like always. All right. All right, you guys ready to get this party started? Smash the like. Super chat peeps. Humble yourself. You guys, not me. You guys need to humble yourselves. I agree. Kevin Illhouse 8124. Everyone needs to humble themselves. Except for me. I'm totally the bestest, most amazing motherfucker who ever lived, so I don't have to humble myself. But you guys should definitely do so. Just kidding. Or am I? Man, I'm being stupid tonight, huh? Cactus Jack coming in with a gifted membership. Wow, Cactus Jack, very generous tonight, gifting out a membership tonight. Awesome. Good times. All right. So I'm thinking we'll start off with the Epstein file shit, and we'll just hit it real quick, and then we'll move on. I already put out a video that hardly anybody watched that fucking tanked, so we don't need to talk much about it. But I did want to touch on the Epstein shit because that's like the top story right now. There isn't a whole lot going on in the news right now that's like that juicy and important. So they went back to the Epstein well. So we'll talk about that for just a few minutes, put on a little news clip, break it down, and then we'll move on to some more important shit. Mike 6 coming in with a donation says, shills of a feather shill together. That is very true. You know, you'll have somebody like Candace Owens, who people think is legit, and then you go to her channel, and who's she interviewing? Russell Brand, right? Who's most definitely not legit. And then they both are telling the same story about how it's so sad what happened to Charlie, right? So shills of a feather definitely flock together, and they cross-promote and cross-pollinate each other. So even at the lowest of levels, like some low-level panel verse shitbag who's only got 20 people watching, they'll be dropping the names of other shills. I've seen low-level shills where hardly anyone's watching, and all they're doing is promoting other shills. Like they're being paid to just promote shills, even though hardly anyone's fucking watching. I've seen it. I've seen from the lowest level, some shit shill that nobody really cares about will hang out with this other shill who will tie back to Jaron, who will tie back to Dave Weiss, who will tie back to Alex Jones, who will tie back to fucking Joe Rogan, who will tie back to Donald Trump. See what I'm saying? So shills of a feather flock together, and through 6 degrees of shill separation, you can go from a low-level shill with 20 people watching and connect them through a series of shill connections all the way back to Donald Trump, right? Donald Trump was on Joe Rogan's show, and Joe Rogan also had Alex Jones on his show, and Alex Jones had David Weiss on his show, and David Weiss hung out with Jaronism and Alex Stein on a show called The Baby Truther Show. And they also had a co-host named Rose 777. And Rose 777 will be running a stream tonight or tomorrow for like 20 fucking people. See? I went from Trump all the way down to motherfucking irrelevant ass Rose 777. See? Not to be confused with the Rose who's here in my chat, of course. And Lintaway Air Duct Cleaning says, can we get some Aaron Haywood? Well, all right. Jake the asshole. He's been doing damage control. He changed his name to Jake the Awake because I exposed he was a shape-shifting Orcon. So that's why he changed his name. Jake, you can run, but you can't hide. I'm always going to expose that you're a shape-shifting Orcon. He plays the role of YouTuber Nick Johnson. Also plays the role of actor John Hamm. He also shapeshifts into a bare-knuckle boxer in the UK. He's a bloody shape-shifting Orcanoid. There you go. Little Aaron Haywood for that ass. All right. Looks like Cactus Jack gave out another membership. Good times. Okay, you guys ready for your first clip of the night? Got to go ahead and pull up the first clip of the night. We're going to touch on the Epstein shit real quick. And then we'll move on from that. The Epstein story is the most popular story right now, it seems. All right. So we'll start with Trump blowing up on an ABC reporter when asked about the Epstein files.
Mr. President, why wait for Congress to release the Epstein files? Why not just do it now?
You know, it's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude. I think you are a terrible reporter. It's the way you ask these questions. You start off with a man who's highly respected, asking him a horrible, insubordinate, and just a terrible question. And you could even ask that same exact question nicely. You're all psyched up. Somebody psychs you over at ABC. You're going to psych it.
Did you guys catch that? You're all somebody psyched you up at the ABC, psych, and then he just trailed off. Now he's trying to think of what else to say after he just totally muffed that whole psych part. Listen again.
Insubordinate and just a terrible question. And you could even ask that same exact question nicely. You're all psyched up. Somebody psychs you over at ABC. They're going to psych it.
You know, one thing I don't like about ABC is that you psych them up, and you take this psych and you go to the psych ward, and then you get all psyched up and psych here and a little psych there, and psych. Yeah, gotta love it. Yeah, this guy's way better than Joe Biden. Remember when Joe Biden used to like trail off and not make sense? I'm glad we have a guy who doesn't do that anymore. All right, Go-Kart says, the older I get, the more I can see my knee grow. Ha ha ha. Very funny. Very funny. Very clever. Did you think of that clever, funny thing yourself? Or did your mommy tell you to say that?
You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter.
You're a terrible person, all right, and a terrible super chatter trying to get me to say something about Negroes. It's really, quite frankly, it's unoriginal, and it's not funny at all. It's actually, it's quite disrespectful. Just kidding. I appreciate it. Thanks for injecting some fun into my stream, and thank you for the super chat, sir.
As far as the Epstein files is, I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I threw him out of my club many years ago because I thought he was a sick pervert. And I guess I turned out to be right. But you know who does have? Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, who ran Harvard, was with him every single night, every single weekend. They lived together. They went to his island many times. I never did.
You like the way he slipped that in? One more time.
And I guess I turned out to be right. But you know who does have? Bill Clinton.
Well, we'll go back a little bit further.
You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter. As far as the Epstein files is, I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I threw him out of my club many years ago because I...
You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter. I have absolutely nothing to do with Epstein except the fact that he used to be my best buddy, and there's tons of photos of us hanging out. But other than that, I have nothing to do with him. I threw him out of my club years ago when I figured out that he was a sicko. He was a pervert doing disgusting things. That's why I threw him out of my club. So you're a sick, disgusting piece of trash. You're the worst reporter. Nobody talks to me like that. In fact, you're fired.
I thought he was a sick pervert. And I guess I turned out to be right. But you know who does have? Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, who ran Harvard, was with him every single night, every single weekend. They lived together. They went to his island many times. I never did.
You know who did go there? Bill Clinton, creepy Joe Biden, all the lefty radical liberals. They were all there on his island. They were there doing horrific, perverted things. I was never there, all right? That's why I want the Epstein files to come out. You don't see me hesitating to sign the bill for the Epstein files to be released. In fact, you're going to find out a lot of horrific things about these radical lefty liberals. Don't you love how it's a perfect right versus left scenario? Again, right? It just so happens to line up to where the right side thinks that a bunch of stuff about Bill Clinton and Democrats is going to be in the Epstein files, and the left thinks it's going to be a bunch of damning information about Trump. So both sides are like, I want the Epstein files because it's going to talk about the bad stuff that the other side that I don't like, what they did. Yeah. The news, they're going to come out and tell us about all these people that visited this island. They're going to be very forthcoming, right? And the government's going to hand down this information to the media, and the media is going to sprinkle it to all of us, right? And we can trust this information because it comes from the media, who's getting it from the government. Two very trusted sources. verifiable information for sure. Kreger says, hello, brother. What's up, dude? Glad you could make it out tonight. Thank you for the super chat. All
right. Andrew Weissman, I hear. All these guys were friends of his. You don't even talk about those people. You just keep going on the Epstein files. And what the Epstein is a Democrat hoax to try and get me not to be able to talk about the $21 trillion that I talked about today.
Whoa! The Epstein files is a Democrat hoax. You guys hear that?
Just keep going on the Epstein files. And what the Epstein is a Democrat hoax to try and get me not to be able to talk about the $21 trillion that I talked about today.
It's a Democrat hoax to get him to not talk about the $21 million that he talked about today. Why would they come up with this elaborate hoax if you already talked about it today? So he talked about $21 trillion today, which already happened. This was like a few days ago, last week, whenever, right? So he already talked about this $21 trillion. And the Epstein files, according to President Trump, is a Democrat hoax to keep him from talking about $21 trillion. Yeah. The Democrats set the whole thing up to keep him from talking about a thing that he already talked about. Which is what? $21 trillion. Oh, well, that makes perfect sense, you guys. You guys know what isn't a hoax? That time he got shot in his ear. That wasn't a Republican hoax, right? That wasn't a big, gigantic fucking hoax. No. But the Epstein files, that's a Democrat hoax. See how that works? And why did the Democrats hoax it? To keep him from talking about $21 trillion, which he already talked about. So the Democrats set up a big hoax to stop you from talking about something that you just went and talked about willy-nilly. Foiled their plans again. When you actually sit and pick apart what the fuck this guy says, he says some of the stupidest shit. Just as stupid and retarded as Joe Biden. Every bit as fucking retarded as Joe Biden. He really is. The stuff that's coming out of Trump's mouth. Now, I know they have AI Trumps and body double Trumps. And the fact that this one stumbled over the psych part earlier. You get ABC, you get psyched up. You're so psyched. You're always psyched, right? That kind of seemed like a AI fucked up version of Trump earlier. So, if you really break it down, the dude calls the Epstein files a Democrat hoax. To use the word hoax after you pretended to get shot in the ear, quite hilarious.
It's a hoax. Now, I just got a little report, and I put it in my pocket, of all the money that he's given to Democrats. He gave me none, zero, no money to me, but he gave money to Democrats.
Let me tell you something about Jeffrey Epstein that you may have never heard. I got the inside scoop about Jeffrey, and nobody's going to tell you this but me. He gave money to Democrats. He didn't give any money to me. He should have. He should have gave me all the money, but instead he gave it to Democrats. I even asked him one time back when we were friends, I said, Jeff, what are you doing giving your money to Democrats? Don't you know they're going to do evil stuff with it? And he was like, oh, don't worry about it, Don. I got it covered. That's when I realized I needed to get rid of this guy. He gives money to Democrats. He didn't give any to me. He may as well just give his money to China. Oh, yeah, you can't trust that fucking Jeffrey. He was giving his money to Democrats and not Trump, you guys. Can you believe that asshole Jeffrey giving his money to Democrats and not Trump? What a piece of shit that guy was.
And people are wise to your hoax. And ABC's your company, your crappy company, is one of the perpetrators. And I'll tell you something.
So why not just sign it now?
I think the
Why not just
license
do it now?
should be taken away from ABC.
Let me tell you something. I think ABC should have their news license removed. Fox News is wonderful. They should keep their license. And at this point, I really don't even have a problem with CBS or NBC or CNN. But ABC specifically, they need to have their news license removed. Everybody loves me, and that's why I won the election. In ABC, all they do is talk negatively about me. So therefore, they should have their license removed. Fox News, they kiss my ass. They lick my taint. But ABC, they don't drink my jizz. So therefore, I think they should have their news license removed. Fox News is real news. ABC is fake news. They need to have their news license revoked immediately. In fact, I'm going to draft up a bill here right after this press interview, and I'm going to see if I can get the license revoked from ABC effective immediately.
Because your news is so fake and it's so wrong. And we have a great commissioner, the chairman, who should look at that. Because I think when you come in and when you're 97% negative to Trump, and then Trump wins the election in a landslide, that means obviously your news is not credible, and you're not credible as a reporter. So I've answered your question. You should go and look at the Democrats who received money from Epstein, who spent their time. Larry Summers was with him all the time. That creep of the fund guy was with him all the time. What's his name?
That, you know who was hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein? That creep fun guy. There was a fun guy. Well, what's his name? Somebody tell me the creep's name that hung out. Like, oh yes, this is such an important guy who hung out with him that he can't remember who the fuck he is. You guys, somebody tell Trump the name of this guy who hung out with Jeffrey.
Who? Reid Hoffman. I don't know.
Reid Hoffman sounds a lot like fungi. Fungi, Reid Hoffman, come say, come swap. Sounds all the same to me.
Reid Hoffman, but I know he spends a lot of money on the radical left. Reid Hoffman, in my opinion, should be under investigation. He's a sleazebag. And those are the people, but they don't get any press, they don't get any news, and you're not after the radical left.
There you go. There's your Epstein file news. All right. I agree, Jason. Epstein was never a real guy like they show on TV and in the news. So do I think that there was a guy who played the role Jeffrey Epstein? Sure. I'm not saying every image of him is totally AI created and totally deep faked, although it could be. I'm guessing they had a guy who would show up to some events and actually play the role of Jeffrey Epstein. There was a guy they could put on camera to take real pics, right? But I don't think he was the guy that the news portrays. I highly doubt that guy ever, in that story, ever really existed. So there's people who have said that they know someone who knows someone who met Jeffrey Epstein, or they know someone who knows someone who went to one of Trump's rallies and shook Trump's hand. It's like, yeah, these people exist as characters on the world stage, but the story and their background can be totally fabricated and made up. And so I agree with Jason here that he never was a real person as the media portrays him. Furthermore, when it comes to the Epstein files, I don't know if you guys saw my video that I put out yesterday. I actually don't give a shit about the Epstein files. So I don't think that a bunch of criminal activity is kept track of in files on some elitist's island, and that they're going to be forthcoming about all these details to us debt wage slaves at the bottom, right? I just don't I don't trust anything that comes from the mainstream media to begin with. And when it comes to worldwide trending stories, top page headline stories, what have you, I tend to go into those thinking automatically that it's scripted bullshit. So this is no exception. The Epstein files, in my opinion, nothing but scripted bullshit. So I'm not going to beg the government to release these files. I'm not going to sit with popcorn in my hand, waiting patiently like a good little slave for the mainstream media to tell me what the government told them, right? So I made a video about it, but YouTube didn't really promote it, so the video tanked, where I basically explained it makes no difference in my life what happened on Epstein's Island. And if you think about it, it makes no difference in your life either. So the only thing left is virtue signaling that you care about the children. And guess what? On my page, there was a handful of comments, people doing exactly that. Jake, I care about the children and what happened to the children, man. I can't believe you're saying that you don't care about what happened on Epstein's Island. Don't you care about the children? No, I don't. Right? I'm going to be real and break it down to you like this. Virtue signaling about some children in a made-up fucking story. Why would I care about that? Not only does it not make any difference in my life, spending my time caring about some shit that's probably made up seems like a huge waste of time and emotion, right? And I'm not really in the business of wasting my time and emotion on made-up bullshit. So people will say, yeah, the news lies, Jake, but you know that they do bad stuff to children behind the scenes. Hey, I'm sure that people in positions of power do terrible things behind the scenes, but what am I going to do to stop it? Nothing. I can't do anything to stop it. I'm not going to be there to stop it, and neither are you. And men who aren't in positions of power also do fucked up things, do bad things to children. There are people who live in corners of the world in poverty who also abuse children. How much time and energy are you going to spend feeling bad and sad about all the children that are abused every day in every corner of the fucking world? How much time and energy are you going to devote tomorrow to every child who was abused tomorrow? Because guess what? Tomorrow, some children are going to get abused. There's going to be millions and millions of children who are mistreated and taken advantage of and abused. And you ain't going to do shit about it. I'm not going to do shit about it either. So why the fuck do people keep virtue signaling how much they fucking care? I care about all those innocent children. Oh yeah? Explain how you care. Well, I get online and I virtue signal to people that they need to watch a documentary on child trafficking. Remember when people were virtue signaling about how you need to watch this documentary on child trafficking? It was like last year there was a child trafficking documentary that came out and people were like, you need to see this documentary about child trafficking. Why? Don't you care about the children? Me watching that documentary ain't gonna save a goddamn one of them. I thought you were a better guy than this, Jake. I'm unsubscribing from you because you didn't watch the child trafficking documentary and you don't care about the children. Is it nothing but a bunch of fucking virtue signaling from people who want to act like they're a good human being and a better human being than me or others because they watched a documentary about child trafficking, because they went online and talked about how much they care about child trafficking and how wrong it is. What does it do? What does caring do? You're going to sit and you're going to mope about all the trafficking going on. Does that stop the trafficking? No. Does it change your life in any way, shape, or form? Yeah, it makes your life more negative to sit and think about that shit that you aren't going to do anything about. So when somebody like me comes along and says, fuck it, I don't care about none of that. No, I'm not going to watch the child trafficking documentary. And no, I'm not going to share it. Don't you care about the children? Here's the deal. If it was my child, then I would care. So I'm not saying you shouldn't care about your own children. You should totally care about your own children. So if somebody's trying to traffic your child, you should totally care about that. Or somebody you know, one of your friends, relatives, if it's somebody like who has a child whom you know, yeah, you could care about that child too. Children in your neighborhood, I get why people would care. But there's going to be children who are taken advantage of in some corner of the world every single day. In fact, there's children being abused right now while I'm streaming. What are you going to do to stop them? Nothing. Nothing you can do. So what good is it to care? It really doesn't make any sense to care. And the only people who think it's important are a bunch of virtue signaling fucking sheep. And some of them showed up to my comment section in my last video. Dude, I thought you were better than this. You don't care about the children? We need to protect the children, man. Like, what are you doing to protect the children? Are you protecting all the children in Zimbabwe? In Zimbabwe, there's going to be somebody who's going to take advantage of a child in some remote village in Zimbabwe. You aren't going to be there to do a fucking thing about it. Are you going to sit around feeling bad about it? How much time and energy do you want to devote to thinking about it? Shady DVD says, smash the thumbs up button. #1 truth or source right here. Most importantly, guys, it's shit that they make up to tug on your heartstrings. Shit that's made up to tug on your heartstrings. In fact, let me give you guys an example. Let me show you guys a child who was on Epstein's island. All right. See this girl here? This was a child on Epstein's island. Right here. This child right here was on Epstein's island and was taken advantage of over and over again. Oh, wait, no, it's a random face generator, right? So this is a made-up person right here. This is a person that doesn't even exist. This is a website, thispersondoesnotexist.com, right? So the news can take a made-up person and get you to care about that person. They can get you to feel sad about that person dying. So they can just make up a person, a random face, and then they can show it to you and then create an entire background. And then you're stuck believing in this story. So they can trick you into caring about somebody who might not even exist, right? So for instance, if a mass shooter kills a bunch of people and then they just show you an image, a face, right? And you don't know for sure whether that person's even a real person. And then they can even give you a website to donate to. Imagine that, a website to donate your money for a person who doesn't even exist. All because they tugged on your heartstrings, right? Get you to care about some child in your mind. All right. And it's kind of a fucked up subject, but I'm here bringing you guys the truth that the news is allowed to make up whatever story they want. Even stories that are terrible, like children being kidnapped, abducted, people being murdered. Yeah, they can make up stories like that. There's no law to stop the mainstream news from making up atrocious stories, tricking people, duping people, tugging on their heartstrings, getting them to donate money to GoFundMes and websites. You never know if your money's actually reaching those people. I got news for it. Yeah, your money ain't reaching those people. JP Crucino says, Jake is doing the right thing as a comedian to call people out for fake virtue. Thank you, sir, Jake. Oh, thank you, JP Crucino, for the super chat. I appreciate that, buddy. So it's not all funny. You know, sometimes I got to bring people the harsh reality that the news will tell some really fucked up stories. And you have to remember it's an entertainment program, right? If they're in business of telling you a fucked up story about bad things happening to children, and they can get you to keep watching, and they can get advertisers to pay big money to advertise during those commercial breaks, it's a business, right? So you got to look at the news more like an entertainment product. It's a business. You have to think about it like a business rather than an information source. But sadly, most people think that the news is an information source. People watch the news and they gather information from it. And they don't realize the news can make up whatever they want. There's no law to protect you from the news just making up a story and getting you to believe in fairy tales and nonsense. Check it out. We'll mess with that site again. Check it out. See, it'll just randomly generate a person's face. So, for instance, we'll do an adult instead. We'll do older female instead of a kid. We'll change it up, right? This is Megan Fat Titties McGee, you guys. Everyone take a look at Megan Fat Titties McGee. Here's the story of Megan Fat Titties McGee. Megan Fat Titties McGee had a great life, and she was a hard worker, and she showed up to her job as an administrative assistant at the college that she works at, and a gunman showed up to the college and opened fire and killed Megan Fat Titties McGee, as well as 33 other students. Megan Fat Titties McGee passed away. It was very sad. It's very sad. So guys, aren't you sad about Megan Fat Titties McGee? Are you telling me you don't care about Megan Fat Titties McGee? I can't believe that you guys don't care about Megan Fat Titties McGee's life, you guys. She was gunned down, violently gunned down, and you guys don't care? Yeah, why should we care about a made-up person, right? It's a made-up person. So that's how you got to treat the people on the news. You just have to consider that they're fucking made-up people or made-up characters. or that the shit didn't happen, right? So if I can generate this face and it looks real, watch, we can generate another one. Just refresh. And it'll generate another one. It looks real enough. This is fucking Zhu Quan. This is Zhu Quan. She was horrifically gunned down in her driveway by a bowl cut shooter who was part of the KKK. There was a bowl cut shooter, and he was infatuated with the KKK, and he shot Zhu Quan. It's very sad. So let me go ahead and show you guys where to send your money to the Zhu Quan's family can't pay for the funeral. So I'm going to show you guys a website where you can send donations to help Zhu Quan's suffering family. See how that works? You guys catching my drift? This website will just pump out a face, right? So the point that I'm getting at, make-believe dead people don't matter. And make-believe abused kids don't matter either. Yeah, there's make-believe stories about celebrities and children and this, that, and the other. All sorts of shit to get people to click, right? And none of us are there to actually witness any of it. So you have to consider that somebody behind the scenes, a group of men behind the scenes, are sitting around coming up with this shit, along with the assistance of AI. Probably a lot of AI. But before AI, there was a bunch of people behind the scenes coming up with these scripts. Then they got these still shots online. Some of them are admittedly fake, but people still share them all over the internet. So Trump with teen girls. Then you're going to find this one with Trump and Epstein, and they're both touching this girl's leg, right? But then when you fact check this, when I say fact check, right? According to the mainstream media, this is a fake picture of Trump and Epstein with some young girl. So there's some admittedly fake photos, but they get shared over and over and over, and people still form opinions and get into fights online, and people will come up with scenarios in their head that they think happened with these young girls and Jeffrey and Trump. And then they'll even admittedly tell you that these photos are doctored and fake. Some of them are real. So supposedly, like this one is a real photo. But then there's another one where Trump's on a plane with a bunch of women, and it's like another fake one. Right? There's this one here. So not only do you have to consider that the photos are fake, but they're also planting admittedly fake photos and getting people to run with that shit, right? So then your credibility's destroyed when you go sharing these photos and making all these proclamations about what's going to be in the Epstein files. So there's people who are clamoring for the Epstein files to be released because they think it's going to be some damning information about these men in power. Really, it's going to be controlled information about men in power, and nothing's going to happen to the men in power, right? And a lot of these so-called men in power are puppet actors on the world stage who don't even really have any power. Let's face it, they're using AI versions of Donald Trump and body doubles of Donald Trump. So how can anybody feel a certain way about Donald Trump if the original guy might not even be around anymore? We have to consider the original Trump might not even be alive anymore, might not even be playing the role anymore. And now it might just be lookalikes and AI, for all you know. I mean, that's what they did with Joe Biden. Joe Biden was replaced and was played by different actors and AI Joe Bidens. So we've seen evidence that they're using AI Trumps. So we got to figure they have body doubles and hyper-realistic Trump masks and actors portraying Trump. So who are you going to focus your anger on if it's a fucking character being played by multiple people in AI, right? So whenever somebody's like, oh, Trump did this and Trump did that, it's like, yeah, but if he's played by AI and doppelgangers, which one are you going to get mad at? Who's going to take the blame? Who's going to do the jail time? All right. Also, another thing I wanted to point out, we'll refer back to these pictures with the girls. They're normalizing that men in power hang out with young underage girls and that they get away with it. So the guys out there who are secretly jealous of Trump and wish that they could partake in this activity, it like normalizes this sort of behavior. Like, oh, well, if you're successful enough, if you're rich and powerful enough, then this sort of behavior is totally acceptable. You can get away with it at least. So they normalize men in power being with underage girls. And these are all really old still shots, right? So they get people's imagination to run wild by just showing you an old still shot. Here's Trump with a teenage girl, and he's got his hands on her shoulders, right? But we saw Joe Biden touching little children and stuff on video camera, sometimes inappropriately, right? Wasn't that much backlash. So they normalize it on both sides. Not just Trump, but with Creepy Joe as well. Speaking of, I don't want people to think that I'm all about just bashing Trump. In fact, I used to bust Joe Biden's balls as being replaced by imposter actors and AI for his entire presidency. So those of you guys who remember, who were watching me years ago when Biden was president, you guys know that I was calling out Biden for being replaced. So some people will say that, you know, I don't focus on the left as much as I focus on the right. It's only because I focus mostly on whoever's president at the time. So when Joe was president, I talked about him exclusively, mostly for like 4 straight years. Barely said anything about Trump during those 4 years because he wasn't in the news as much. Now that Joe Biden's out of the fucking the White House, right? He's no longer playing the role of president. I don't talk about him hardly at all. Refer to him here and there every once in a while. But Speaking of, that reminds me, I came up with a song a long time ago about Joe Biden. Let me go ahead and play that real quick. All right. All right. I'm going to play a quick song about Joe Biden here to show you guys I was busting Joe Biden's balls years ago. We're going to go back to 2020, October 2020. Man, where does the time go? Joe Biden loves to touch children, official music video.
Joe Biden loves to touch little children. Joe Biden loves to grope up on some women. Joe Biden loves to touch little children. Joe Biden loves to touch all the women. Creepy Joe, he's losing all control, making all the women and children feel uncomfortable. He whispers in her ear, tell her something she don't want to hear. She pulls away from Joe and Joe Biden loves to touch little children. Joe Biden loves to touch upon some women. Joe Biden loves to touch little children even on TV. Joe Biden, well, he's touch upon some women inappropriately. Joe Biden loves to touch little children, even on TV. Joe Biden loves to touch all the women inappropriately. Joe Biden loves to touch little children, even on TV. Joe Biden loves to touch all the women inappropriately. Joe Biden.
There you go. Classic tunage. That one really brings me back. Really brings me back to 2020. Man, those were the days. Back in 2020, when Creepy Joe was president and people were wearing a mask and locking down and shit, man. You ever hear a song that just like takes you back to a certain time in your life? Man, whenever I hear Joe Biden loves to touch little children, it instantly transports me back to that time when everybody was wearing a fucking mask and acting retarded. Those were the days. You guys ever listen to an old song and it like transports you back in time? Like you listen to a song from like the 90s and you're like, oh yeah, I remember. I used to go rollerblading with my friends at Roller King and we used to sing that song, right? So it's like an old song will like make you go back in time and relive those old moments. So like the other day, I was listening to some classic rock from the 70s. And I was like, man, this song really brings me back to before I was born. Man, whenever I listen to classic rock from the 70s, it really reminds me of that time before I was born. Those were the days. I wish I could go back to before I was born. There you go. That's my music takes you back joke. All right. Mike 6 said, what a sick, beautiful love song, right? Isn't it? It's like it's dope, but it's also like a bit disgusting to look at as well and think about. But like it's fucking fresh and dope at the same time. LaFleur says, real truther music. Oh, thank you very much, Mike 6 and Davey D. I appreciate the super chat love. You guys are awesome. All right, so I pretty much got through the Epstein shit, and we could move on from that, right? It's not very fun to talk about the fake Epstein shit, right? So we can move on. Move on to the scripting of the news. This is where I'm going to show a classic clip. Some of you guys have probably seen it. There's a short film called The Newsbenders, and it actually reveals some hidden truth about how the news is scripted. It's basically like one of these predictive programming reveals, truth in plain sight type things. But it's really old, so a lot of you guys, I'm sure, haven't seen it. So we're going to watch a really old video, but the information is really important. So let me go ahead and pull that up right now. And for those of you who've never seen the Newsbenders short film, it's quite eye-opening, I must say. All right. Now, this is an old video, so the resolution is not going to be that great, but I want you guys to pay attention because the stuff that's talked about between these two men ties directly into scripting the news. So it's important information. And this is basically like a truth in plain sight, predictive programming reveal of sorts. And a lot of this stuff, you'll see parallels with a bunch of the fake news stories that have come out over the years since this was put out in 1968. So without further ado, Newsbenders.
Please. I'm sorry, the language must seem rather strange at first, but we take it very seriously. Just to show you how seriously, I'm going to tell you how we checked up on you. We call these things surgical transmitters. One was fitted inside you when you went into the Charing Cross Hospital 3 years ago. Appendix, wasn't it?
Transmitter? Are you trying to tell me that you listen to every word I say?
A machine does.
1968, a transmitter, a machine that listens to every word you say. Well, nowadays, we all got machines listening to every word that we say, right? Got our phones, laptops, smart TV. Hell, even your smart refrigerator now is like listening to you and showing you ads and shit, right? Your smart dryer fucking spying on you when you're in the laundry room.
Untouched by human hand. There's a little gadget in these things that ties up with the pulse rate. Puts a bleep onto anything that you're excited about saying. British.
Power quotient, surgical transmitters, high-speed tape. It's Doctor Who. I'm for the real world, Jack. Good afternoon.
I should just have to give you an example. On July the 26th, 1966, you were talking to this girl, Sheila, about love. You said to her, I quote, "The kind of love I have for you, Sheila, well, it's bed love and it's more. It's staying in bed till 6 p.m. and saying I can't go to the office today. It's eating breakfast at twilight, laughing at leaves on the pavement."
I don't believe there's any such thing as these surgical transmitters. You got Sheila to tell you all this, then you wrote it down the way I might have said it. You're a good guesser.
Can you hear your heart beating?
It's eating breakfast at twilight, laughing at leaves on the pavement, getting a cab to a silly movie to Paris. It's moving when you're tired of staying still. And I've done it all before when I could do it with no ties. Now it'd just be irresponsible. So there really is one of those things inside me. What do you want?
We want people with low power quotients. We want them to work for us. Nothing more sinister than that.
All this just to offer me a job.
Special sort of job. The newspapers talk about the corridors of power, the power elite. Let's just say we'd like you to join the club.
Oh.
There's a vacancy in our newsreel department. We'd like you to help plan the news for 1973.
That's the line. We want you to join the club. We'd like you to help plan the news for 1973. So they're offering this guy a job after saying that they have a transmitter already in his body and they've been listening to all his conversations. They know everything about him. And they want to offer him a job to script the news for 1973. And this is in 1968. Right? So what, 5 years beforehand? So this is where they talk about how the news is scripted and what his job will entail.
Come again?
Plan the news for 1973. What are you doing?
I just want to make sure the sunlight's real.
I always tell people, news is the most highly developed form of fiction. The most difficult. Come on. I just want to show you something. There's no obligation to buy. Really. News requires imagination.
The news requires imagination.
News requires responsibility. We think you're well qualified. Please.
Double A security, sprinkler systems and other services do not operate beyond this point.
'73. We've only roughed out the news for 1973. Nothing's been given the go-ahead yet, but this is the kind of thing we have in mind. Come.
Today, April 14, 1973. First historic pictures by Radstar of the combined U.S.-Russian landing on the moon. Shown here are Majors Webb and Mikhailovich taking their first steps into the unknown. firing their retro rockets to land their spacecraft on the dust-covered surface. A comforting note for us stay-at-homes, both the Pentagon and the Kremlin have announced that the moon has no strategic value.
So, as we know, 1969 was when man supposedly first walked on the moon. Here they are in 1968, talking about scripting a story for 1973. And then they have this prop here, which he had in his hand. And then they show how that prop was used for this upcoming news story that they're planning to show the people in 1973. See?
Into the unknown, firing their retro rockets to land their spacecraft on the dust-covered surface. A comforting note for us stay-at-homes, both the Pentagon and the Kremlin have announced that the moon has no strategic value.
The moon has no strategic value. You guys, that's exactly what happened. They told us that the moon is a gray rock. That's some pretty heavy predictive programming there. They told us that the moon is just some gray rock. There's no life there. Really no reason to go back. That's why we haven't been back in all these years, just because it's there's nothing of strategic value there, right? So they passed it off like it's just some small gray rock that's not even that big of a deal. When the moon is the same size as the sun, when you look at it, the moon appears to be the exact same size as the sun. And at night, on a full moon, it like lights up the night sky, right? So it's like a light in the sky, similar to the sun. Basically looks like the same size as the sun. They get you to think the sun is a gigantic fireball 93 million miles away, but the moon is some little gray rock only 238,000 miles away. So they can take away the value of the moon in your head by making you think that it's a gray thing, just a boring rock that men went and walked on back in 1969. That's so boring and lame. There's like no reason to go back anymore. So they take away the value of the moon in your head. So it's funny that he mentioned there's no strategic value. That's exactly what they did. They stripped away the value of the moon.
And the Kremlin have announced that the moon has no strategic value.
A comforting note for us to stay at home. I can't show you any film on this next model. We haven't photographed it yet. But this is the way it will sound.
June the 22nd, 1973. The State Department releases film of the ultimate weapon, codenamed Icarus. This satellite is equipped with a solid reactor. In layman's terms, it can freeze air solid, stopping all missiles, killing all forms of life. Icarus orbits at the same speed as the Earth, can hang in position over every major city that threatens the peace-loving nations.
Rather proud of this one.
And as we know, they've tricked basically the entire population into believing in satellites in space, boxes with wings in outer space, right? You've never seen a box with wings floating in outer space with your own two eyes, but everybody assumes they're up there. Not you guys, of course, but most everybody in the world believes in satellites. And here they are showing you it's a prop. It's a fucking made-up concept. The concept of the satellites started in sci-fi movies. And then they went on to program everyone into believing that satellites are up there. Just a bazillion satellites are up there floating around all the time, doing their job. They don't break down. They don't get hijacked or stolen, right? And all those satellites up there floating around working perfect. But Jake, I've seen them. Now, there's people who see a light, right? I've seen lights up in the sky that move, right? Like a little tiny light. not as bright as a star, but like something that's like a little pinprick of light moving across the sky. I know people in their head will assume that they saw a satellite, but I'm not one of those guys. So if I see a light in the sky, I'm not going to assume it's a box with wings, because I know boxes with wings floating in fucking outer space is made up bullshit. Right? So here they said that this satellite Icarus can stop all missiles killing all forms of life, and it orbits at the same speed as the Earth and can hang in position over every major city that threatens peace-loving nations. So getting people to believe that there's weapons of mass destruction, and then combining space travel and your weapons of mass destruction, right? So now you have a space age space weapon of mass destruction. If you can get people to believe in it, well, then it's true in their minds. Then you can get them to fear it. You can use stories and control people's minds about how our enemies have a nuke, right? A big warhead, which is a rocket, a missile that'll kill everything. Oh, well, now we have the satellite that'll blow up these warheads, right? They can trick you into believing all sorts of shit with nothing but props and science fiction concepts that people just made up. But if they can get you to believe that that technology is the latest, greatest weapon of mass destruction, well, they can control what you're afraid of, what you believe is possible in this realm.
Peace-loving nations.
Rather proud of this one. Come on. Please.
Well, all right. All right. Take a hit. Maria. All right. We're about to get a little crazy. We're about to get a little out there, a little bit. Wow, wow, wow. I was just telling my girlfriend the other day, I was like, don't you think it's crazy that we've never like seen a satellite like floating in space with like our own two eyes? Yeah, I know it's a little crazy, a little wow, wow, but just follow me for a minute. Like, and I wish Nestor was here, but Nestor didn't show up to work today, so I'm doing this video alone. But my mom died, and I live in a townhouse, and I make good money. I make six figures, and I was just thinking the other day, like, wouldn't it be crazy if like satellites were like not real? Yeah, just a crazy concept. We're just talking out of our butt. Wow, wow. There you go. That's Jack Morgan. Dude, he put out a clickbait video yesterday about shit that he's going through, and he purposely messed up his hair and had a clickbait title like, I'm going through some shit right now. And then when you watch it, he's like, some of my friends made some bad decisions in life, and they're paying for those bad decisions, and just sucks. And like, I'm having a lot of good stuff happen to me in my life right now, and it's my fault. All the good things that happen to me and all the bad things that happen, it's all my fault. I used to want to be a skateboarder, but then I became a guy who watches TikToks and gives bland and mundane opinions. I make good money. I make six figures, literally watching TikToks and running my mouth like I'm doing right now. Buy a Caddy Daddy t-shirt if you haven't already. Wow, wow. It's like, thanks, Jack. I'm glad I clicked on that video about the shit that you're going through. There you go. Little Jack Morgan for you. Those who know, you know. All right, let's get back to this video. There's some good parts still coming up.
Down, Mr. Lutton.
September the 5th, 1973. The new phase in global warfare. War by example. At 4:32 our time, China took out the remote Indian border village of Bangalore, unprotected by the Icarus network. After the first 2 5-megaton H-bombs had fallen, the 9-way hotline finally
Switch
had
it off.
effect. But
This is going to happen in 1973. You're going to make this happen?
No. We're going to make models much cheaper. Then we photograph the models.
All right, so what he just revealed right there is that they can use models and destroy the models and videotape it in a way and use special effects to make it look real. So if you go back and you watch the nuke test footage, you'll see exactly that. Models being blown up, dynamite being detonated, models being blown up, and then they tell you it's the nuke, right? So this same concept, they're basically revealing the truth that like they can use models to dupe the fuck out of people on the news, right? Follow Your Float said, how advanced are we truly as a human race? See, that's kind of a weird question. So, at the tippity top might be something not even human. So we have to wonder if, you know, some mega computer is at the tippity top running the show. If something non-human runs this realm. If technology is coming from some other source other than men creating it in factories and whatnot. So as far as some of the technology that's come out, some of it's out of this world and unexplainable to me, and I can't quite make sense of it. You know, some of the things that that AI does and is able to spit out to me seems not just artificial, but it seems like it's demonic or coming from a demonic place of some sort. So there's something about the advancements in technology, especially over the last few years, that the technology seems very dark and demonic. And so how advanced humans are, I don't know, right? Because our history is a big bunch of bullshit and lies. So as far as how long certain technologies have been around, who really came up with it, and how long ago, I really couldn't tell you. It's quite confusing. Once I found out most everything that happened before I was born in history is made up bullshit in one way or another, fabricated stories, twisted and turned, right? Then it makes me not know anything about the human race as a species, right? Like how it was created and what the point of it all is and stuff. So I can't really answer a question like that, man, to be honest. And anyone who does answer it, they don't really know either. It's kind of a hard question to answer, in fact. Got a super sticker coming in from Lance Bigger. Thank you, Lance Bigger, for the super sticker. I appreciate that. All right. So let's get back to the news benders real quick here.
Fake newsrooms.
Fake news.
Fake newsrooms. Fake news.
For the past 10 years, people have been looking at our fake newsreels and listening to our fake commentaries.
And they accept it for the truth. And you can do it. Stop 100 people in the street. How many of them have actually seen a missile or a satellite? That they're just told they exist and they believe it.
Exactly. People are told of the concept of the nuclear missile and the satellite without actually seeing it work with their own eyes. They just believe in it.
You're getting there. I knew you would.
Well, now the moon rocket and the satellite, that you can get away with. That's too remote for people to grasp. It's too far away, but this... I mean, you invented this village on the Indo-Chinese border.
Oh, yes.
Well, somebody could check up.
Very mountainous territory up there. There'll be no survivors in 1973. No rescue work. Radiation scare.
Yeah, you can blow up an entire city and trick the people at home. Nobody's going to go double check to see if you're telling the truth. And even if a few people did, who are they going to tell? This was before social media. So nobody could really spread the information anyway, right? So back in the 70s, you weren't worried about, somebody with a phone and a camera and a social media account, showing up and blowing the whistle on anything. All right. Thank you, James Matthew, for the super chat. There's no message attached, but super chat coming in nonetheless. I appreciate that. Super chats are always greatly appreciated. Your super chat love helps keep this channel going, helps keep me afloat. I am a professional YouTuber. This is what I do for a living. And so you can directly show your appreciation, and I'll read your super chat, of course, live. So I appreciate any and all super chats.
Yes. You can do it. This could be the news for 1973.
Not necessarily exactly like this. We only plan in detail 1 year ahead.
Oh, you only plan 1 year ahead.
Hey, tell me, what is the news item that's bothered you the most in the past year, 1967?
Oh, well, it has to be the new American intercontinental ballistic missile, the Boy Wonder, doesn't it?
Just the one I asked him to set up for you. The new ICBM, codename Boy Wonder, with a much talked about Mercury warhead.
Here you guys go. Here's your nukes are fake moment.
I haven't any special effects up here, but perhaps with the proper sound. Blast off. And Robert Larkin, television director, high IQ, 35 years old, is scared. Scared by nothing. It doesn't work. It's a scientific impossibility.
Scared by nothing. It doesn't work. It's a scientific impossibility. I've always said when rockets take off that it's fascinating how it's like it looks like it slowly leaves the launch pad. And I've pointed out, I was like, okay, when I launch off a model rocket, like one of those hobby store model rockets, it's like, and it's out of sight in like a second. It's gone and out of sight until it comes down on its little parachute, right? Now, I know the model rockets are much smaller than a NASA rocket. But one thing I notice about NASA rockets, SpaceX rockets and whatnot, they don't take off, right? It's not like a bigger version of a model rocket that just goes. Instead, very slowly, right? I think I got a banana I can use as a prop. So it's like it's very slowly takes, and like the fire coming out the bottom is like for show. It's almost like it's a helium-filled tube, like a glorified hot air balloon shaped like a rocket. And then the fire is to make you think that that rocket is what's propelling it upward. So imagine it's going up because it's filled with helium. And then the fire is just to make you think that that's the rocket technology to get it to go to space. And then the rocket goes up. And if you guys have ever seen a rocket take off, it starts by going straight up. But then it'll start to turn, right? Start to turn. Then before you know it, now it's a sideways rocket on screen. And then it'll start to go back down. And then what they'll do is they'll flip the screen and show you a booster coming off the back of the rocket. And then boom, they show you that the rocket is now in the blackness of space. So there's always that moment where you see the rocket start heading back down, and then they switch the camera away, right? So in person, the rocket leaves your sight, and you never get to see the rocket pop out in space. The rocket just leaves your sight. But then for those watching at home and on video, they just cut away, and they show you the boosters coming off the back.
The same goes for the much talked about Mercury warhead. Perspex.
Well, if this rocket doesn't work, then the others?
They have a fireworks party at Cape Kennedy almost every other day.
Fireworks party at Cape Kennedy.
Well, you didn't really believe there were all these things whizzing about up there, did you? Sputniks and rockets. Astronauts crossing their legs for 8 days.
How long has this been going on?
Since Hiroshima.
Wow. 1968, they were dropping these truth bombs, y'all. These things whizzing about up there. Sputniks and rockets.
Sputniks and rockets. Astronauts crossing their legs for 8 days.
How long has this been going on?
Since Hiroshima.
And the H-bomb, you mean, that doesn't work either?
Right. Dirty.
Very, very dirty.
What was your first reaction? Relief. Oh, yes. Yes, it has to be relief.
All right, we're going to interrupt the news benders because we have a very generous super chat coming in from Mike 6. He says, do an impression of Richard Pryor or sing an NWA song or the Beastie Boys. When you wake up late for school and you don't want to go. You ask your mom, please, but she still says no. You missed 2 classes and no homework. But your teacher preaches class like he's some kind of jerk. You gotta fight for your right to party. Well, your pops caught you smoking, now he says, no way. But that hypocrite smokes two packs a day. Your mom busted in and said, what's that noise? You know it ain't nothing but the Beastie Boys. You gotta fight for your right to party. And I forgot that one line. And your mom threw away your best porno mag. I totally forgot that part. That's the most important part. And your mom threw away your best porno mag. Party! Woo! 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 Party! There you go. That's as much as I can remember. I used to sing that song in a cover band, and I totally blanked out on the lyrics midway through. Your mom threw away your best porno mag. Freaking mom. She threw away my best porno mag, bro. Fucking hate that bitch. Fuck you, mom. I'm moving out. Why, Jimmy? Because you threw away my best porno mag, ma. Gosh. Sorry. Getting carried away. We're getting carried away. Whew, all right. We interrupt this episode of Newsbenders to bring you a shitty version of the Beastie Boys. Mike 6 says, don't do it now. Wait till the end of the show. Ah, too late, Mike. Too late, bro. I already did it. All right. So now that I done did the thing, we'll go ahead and we'll get back to the Newsbenders. That was the intermission. Me performing Beastie Boys.
Only 12 people are allowed beyond this point. Most of them work in the photographic department, taking phony newsreel pictures of our models and processing film and so on. Sit down, please. Ah, pretty pictures from our stills department. The boy wonder.
So the rocket that he was talking about, and they have the magazine printed up and shit. And he was just looking at the model, right? So imagine you get hit with the information that the rockets are fake. They're not really out there flying around. That the warheads are not real either. And then he shows you this magazine with the cover being that same missile. Got to be quite the mind fuck back in 1968, wouldn't you think?
Do you really think that missiles and satellites are my line of country?
No, not at all. I've only shown you the hard news. There are other things, much softer things we thought might interest you.
Well?
1973, we thought it might be time for an anti-teenage movement. A long-awaited return to maturity. Sheriff. Perhaps even a religious revival.
Oh, I see. You want me to arrange the grand opening of Ruislip Cathedral. 1st of October, 1973. Mark the date down in my 10-year diary.
We are very serious about you. There are things about you we like very much. Qualities you have to offer. Qualities that we perhaps don't possess at the moment.
That's great.
Our file on you. I have to return to July the 25th, 1966. The day you broke it off with this girl, Sheila. You really did reveal rather a lot of yourself that day. But of course, if you really mind...
Help yourself.
You said to her, it won't work, Sheila. And she said something. And then you said...
You remember I went away with Rachel and the kids to the seaside? It was midweek and this huge stretch of sand was empty. Just a circle of footprints around 3 sandcastles and tracks out to sea. The whole damn day of my family marked out in front of me. The sun was going down. Rachel kept calling the kids to get dressed. She picked up buckets and spades, corny bloody things like that. I was up at the car. I looked at those footprints and I knew those people were slipping away. There were things I could tell them.
We rather like that bit about footprints.
So he's basically playing something that happened in his private life. a private life. So for him to come to the realization that moments he thought he was in private with his wife and kids and family, that this guy was listening. There's a whole bunch of people listening. There's a machine listening. Right now we know, all of us know, that there's machines listening to us all the time. But there was a time before you thought that machines were listening to you. Do you guys remember back before we thought that machines were listening to us? When I was a little kid, I didn't think I was being listened to by gadgets and gizmos. So I remember what it was like to think that I wasn't being recorded. Big Money and Cactus Jack both gifting memberships. Thank you, Big Money and Cactus Jack, for the gifted memberships. I'm sure the people who receive them are appreciative of that. You guys are awesome.
You see, in this job, some of us have got rather a long way away from the idea of footprints in the sand.
Those footprints were made by my children. Now, you want me to scare the hell out of them with every bomb from A to H inclusive. Well, why? I mean, when did it all start?
1945. You may remember the Americans let off their 2 atomic bombs. Well, they didn't want other people doing the same thing. I mean, you do see that, don't you?
Oh,
All right. I see in chat a Jesus argument has broke out. And then you got this guy saying Jake has some tards as mods, no doubt. Hey, everyone's got different opinions as far as Jesus is concerned and religion in general. It's one of those topics that people are just not all going to agree on. And so there's some people who love Jesus and love the Bible, and they just have to tell everyone about it all the time. And then there's other people who might think that religion was created to control men's mind. And so, if you guys want to argue and go back and forth in the comments section, nothing's going to be settled, because the people that are really into religion, you're not going to sway them. And then the people that aren't into religion at all, the religious people, aren't going to sway them. So it's really a waste of time to go back and forth and call people names or whatever. So you saying that about my mods, that'd be a quick way for one of them to get pissed off and time you out, right? So not everybody is down with the religion thing. Some people believe that religion was created by men to control men's mind, and that the story of Jesus was created by men to dupe other men. And so if you don't agree with that, that doesn't make somebody automatically a tard.
I don't know.
Well, to scare the people off, the Americans put it up that the atomic bomb was halfway along the line to something much bigger, the hydrogen bomb. It didn't work. They spent 5 years in negative research.
Well, what about the Russians? They're supposed to have quite a pile of these things.
We were surprised when they started their tests. Then we got a few feelers from their Secret Service. Nowadays, we work very closely together. Oh.
So now they're saying they work with the Russians together. This is where they're admitting that they work with other countries to script the news along with them, right? So governments of the world working together while pretending to be enemies. That's something we still see today.
All these stories about spies going off to Russia. Mr. Philby, remember? Just good copy for the Sunday papers.
Good copy. Well, the Chinese. I mean, they've just announced their bomb.
Yeah, we played along with it. We recorded their phony explosion. We're rather hoping the Chinese will come along, complete the pattern, you know.
In Vietnam, hundreds of people are being killed every week. Well, you can't do that with your models.
No. And you can't kill people of bad habits in 2 generations. They like to carry rifles. They like to put lines on maps. And we let them because we control the situation. There's no danger of world war. Just a simple choice for everybody. Capitalism or communism. Strawberry or vanilla.
Whoa, Powerful shit right there. I know this is an old clip, and it's tough to get into something that's this old, and it's kind of dry. But if you listen to the verbiage here, they're talking about scripting the news and predictive programming. There's some heavy stuff here. There's no danger of world war, just a simple choice for everybody. Capitalism or communism.
Just a simple choice for everybody. Capitalism or communism. Strawberry or vanilla. It all adds up to the same thing now we've got rid of the big bangers.
Well, how can you be sure that Johnson, Kosygin aren't working on other things? Poison gases, bacteria.
Pathetic man of your intelligence. You don't want to destroy the world, neither do I. What makes you think that presidents are different?
Well, they've made some pretty good stabs at it in the past.
It wasn't the right sort of control then. Nowadays we know better. Politicians are easy to control. The grosser mentality boys who like to be photographed getting in and out of Daimlers in Whitehall. They come right at the bottom of our organization. A few rungs up the ladder, there are the people in the top secret factories. Just those in a position to know they're making weapons that don't really work.
Whoa! Control the politicians? Whoa! One more time.
Politicians are easy to control. The grosser mentality boys who like to be photographed getting in and out of Daimlers in Whitehall. They come right at the bottom of our organization. A few rungs up the ladder, there are the people in the top secret factories.
A few rungs up the ladder from the politicians are the people in the top secret factories.
Just those in a position to know they're making weapons that don't really work.
Just those in positions that are making weapons that don't really work. Right? So there's people making weapons of mass destruction that don't really work and are never going to be used. Just as there's people creating satellites that are supposedly going to go to outer space. There's people creating rockets that are supposedly going to go to outer space.
There must come a time when somebody wants to use one of those weapons. I mean, somebody is standing there with a finger on the button.
Well, that's the beauty of it. Nobody presses the button. We control all the crises. We build them up and we shut them down.
We? Again?
Yeah, I'm coming to that. Near the top of the hierarchy, there are the economists, top civil servants, top brass in the military. Those men who are supposed to view the nuclear tests and so on. And above them, CWNS.
Right at the top. Classified World News Service. Just who the hell are you?
It's obvious, isn't it? Just a very few of the top people in communications in every major country in the world.
Oh, you mean you run all these magazines?
No, of course not. We just get them to take some of our copy every week. Television is much more important to us. It all happens so quickly.
Now, you say you can put out what pictures you like on television. Doesn't anybody try to stop you?
No, nobody wants to. 99.386% of the population wouldn't believe this conversation. And the rest are working for us. And
So that's a great line. It's probably one of the best lines in the whole 28-minute short film. 99.386% of the population wouldn't believe this conversation. And the rest are working for us. Right? So even when you tell sheeple the fucking truth and you hit them in the face with it, they wouldn't believe it. So that's why back in 1968, they could hit people with all these truth bombs and get away with it without them waking up to the fact that all this shit was going to be used to dupe them in the future.
wouldn't believe this conversation. And the rest are working for us. And they're the top minds, the really responsible people. They know they're guaranteeing the lives of their grandchildren the only foolproof way.
Scaring the hell out of their grandchildren. Well, I won't buy it.
You must admit there has to be some kind of control in this world of ours. Look at this. And remember that 1/4 of the world is starving. There are the full bellies, And the empty bellies. Some of the empty bellies carry rifles. Well, we full bellies are getting a bit flabby. We're not very good with rifles anymore, so we've devised two ways to keep the empty bellies under control. One of them is this fictitious hydrogen bomb we've talked about. The other one is money.
Whoa! We've developed ways to keep the empty bellies under control. One of them's the H-bomb and the other one's money.
Enough money to fill some of the empty bellies and put a hopeful smile on the faces of the others. A great wall of money all around Britain. And it's no secret that the British economy is in trouble at the moment. So we have to put that right, too, to stay alive. We have to control the people in this country. Scare an ostrich, buries its head in the sand. You scare a hedgehog, it rolls itself up into a ball. When a woman's frightened, she goes out and buys herself a hat.
You mean you scare us so that we'll buy more, so that money moves quicker, production moves up?
We don't say scare when we talk about human.
You scare a woman, she buys a hat. So you scare us so that we go buy shit. Whoa! Heavy stuff. Like I said, I know old. I know it seems a bit dry and boring, but if you take the time to listen to this old short film, there's some heavy nuggets of truth there. Joe EGG says, lunch for you and bone for Ralph. Thank you very much, bro. It's very generous of you. Fist bumps for you, Joe EGG. Put your fist to the screen. Bump it up. Thank you very much, Joe EGG. I appreciate it, bro.
Beings, we say, threaten them emotionally. And there are all sorts of ways of not just the big ones like the hydrogen bomb. Overcrowd them a little with bad planning. Sell them too many motor cars. Anything to keep them a little bit removed from reality. Nowadays, people don't work for money. They work for the idea of money. They don't even love for love. They love for the idea of love. They only hate for the idea of hate. It took us 5 years to find a non-addictive drug, one we could pay off against the hard drugs. LSD.
You marketed that?
Oh, yes, of course. And for a very good reason. Some of these protest movements were getting a little bit too close to the mark. LSD gave them nice little hallucinations. Made them talk like 3-year-olds. Throw flowers at policemen. Shall we talk terms?
You're not still going to ask me to work for you?
I'm afraid I've had to put all this rather bluntly. You see, there wasn't really very much time. It must be rather a shock. Well, I mean, most people realize that the world is controlled from about 6 big cities. But it must be rather shocking to learn that a sixth of the world is controlled from this building.
You mean you?
Oh, no. I only rate an office on the 7th floor. There are 2 other offices above this one. And a giant computer system.
And a giant computer system. So even back then, talking about a giant computer system.
Link number 4 in world control.
A computer?
And what's so remarkable about that? It's just a machine that can store a vast amount of information.
A machine that knows too bloody much.
Now you're being hysterical about it. The computer's very simple. You feed data into it. Anything from the Wall Street closing prices to the North Atlantic weather reports.
And you get decisions. That machine's taken you over.
It's just a machine. Extra hands for the people who know how to control it.
Extra hands for the people who know how to control it. The machine.
Well, this one above us, it's square in a box.
Yeah, I suppose you could call it square in a sort of a box.
Do you know why I go away at weekends? To get away from people in boxes. They live in boxes. They get their thoughts, their problems, and their answers out of boxes. And I like to get away at weekends because they're not people anymore. Now, you know all about me. My cottage in Hampshire. But did you know that there's a line of trees that goes right up past the house? And the noise they make is like the sea. Did you know that I find it difficult to sleep in the country? And I like to go and stand in the garden before dawn. And I feel good because I know that my wife and my children are asleep inside. And I like to go out and walk past the wet hedgerows until I can see pasture land and the smoke from the cottages in the
This
village.
may be all very well for one of your grassroots programs, but I'm afraid time is running out. I ought to tell you, we pay a great deal of money. We can afford to. We save such a lot on things like the national defense budget, so on. We would start you off at £250,000 a year.
No.
Rising to £1 million when you make the Ministry of Morality, which I...
$250,000 a year, rising to $1 million. That's big money back in 1968. When you make the Ministry of Morality, ooh, it's like a cult within the job.
know you will.
Will you let me out of here?
One little point. I should have told you about these surgical transmitters. There's enough of this stuff inside you at this moment to kill 6 people. There's a button we can press. I'm sorry about the dramatics. Our boys call these things the oral contraceptive. Keeps them from talking too much.
So there must be one of those transmitters inside you. Who presses the button? Extra hands. All this stuff about the computer being extra hands for the men who know how to control it. That machine controls you.
You start on Monday.
There you go. It's the news benders. Some heavy stuff, huh? All right. Art Hawk says, this is for a big bone for Ralphie. Jake, thank you, brother. Hit the thumbs up button, everyone. Thanks for being here, everyone. I hope you all have happy holidays or whatever you do. That's a nice general way to tell everybody to have a good winter. Have a wonderful holidays or whatever it is that you do. Thanks, man. I appreciate the generous super chat, Art Hawk. Very positive super chat message. And I agree. Everybody should hit the thumbs up. And thank you for everyone being here on a lovely Saturday evening. Looks like I got a new member. Grant Bennett just became a new member. All right. All right. So after we watch that, now stuff like, for instance, the lunar module, right? Where's it at? So he was showing that they were using models. So they got people to believe that this piece of shit known as the lunar module landed on the moon. So obviously you can take a bunch of curtain rods and tarps and some scotch tape, and you can concoct a model and trick millions of people into believing that it landed on the moon, right? How many guys are going to come along and make a shirt like this and point it out? Not many. Not many are going to think to come along and tell people that it's a homeless tweakers looking pile of trash that definitely couldn't land on the moon. And they already got away with it. Millions of people already believe that the lunar module landed on the moon, so they don't really care that I've sold thousands of shirts exposing that it's a homeless tweaker shelter looking pile of shit. Yeah. They already got away with it. Kreger says, good night, Jake. I'm tired. Thanks. Hey, good night, Kreger. Good news. I did talk to the puppy owner, the guy who gave me Ralph. His name's Bruce. He has a few beagles left that haven't been claimed for a that haven't been taken yet. So basically, there are a couple beagle puppies available. If you would be interested in getting one, I could hook you up with or put you in touch with Bruce, the guy who owns the beagles, and it'll be the same genetics that I got my beagle from. So anyway, I'll have to email you about how to get in touch with the guy Bruce. Local Enterprise Broadcasting says film has always been used to subliminally subvert or inform the viewers. The messages are subjective. A Rorschach. Some see the truth, others buy the lies from the same exact images. I don't know if I've ever seen the word Rorschach used before. Thank you very much, Local Enterprise Broadcasting, for the super chat donation. Much appreciated. Speaking of models and more fakery, have you guys ever went back and took a look at the lunar rover? Here's the lunar rover. And they took a dune buggy to the moon. See? Went through all the trouble to make a moon buggy. Found a way to load it inside that small module. And then they unpacked that bad boy and took it for a run. And videotaped the whole thing so that you can see that they for sure did some dune buggy driving on the moon. Yeah. You know, you drive a car, I drive a car. They drove a car on the moon. For sure. Because if you're going to go to the moon, why not bring a dune buggy? And of course, the dune buggy looks like it's working perfect. And where did he go on the dune buggy? Oh, he went, like 50 yards off in the distance, turn around, circled back. That's why you bring a dune buggy. So that you can go 50, 100 yards away from the module and then turn around and drive back. You got to make sure to have a camera on the moon buggy as well, so you can get these awesome shots of the moon terrain, of course. And then the moon terrain in every direction, It's like it just drops off. It's like it just cuts off the blackness of space, the gray moon terrain, and of course, it just like drops off in the horizon. In every direction, you can see that horizon that's not very far away. Yeah. So look, guys, they brought a dune buggy to the moon so that they could drive around a little bit and film the moon buggy while it drives around. I've always pointed out that a moon buggy seems a bit risky, right? I mean, you're going to take a dune buggy to the moon where there's like no hospital to help you if anything goes wrong. You know, if you crash the dune buggy and rupture your spacesuit, isn't that instant death? If your spacesuit gets popped, ruptured, right? Breaks open, doesn't that like instantly kill you? Seems to me getting on the dune buggy would drastically increase your chances of your spacesuit getting busted open, popped, if you will, right? I'd be freaked out personally to ride a moon buggy on the moon. It might sound fun, like you're going to ride around a dune buggy here on Earth, ride around a dune buggy on the moon. Well, here on Earth, I've seen people crash dune buggies. I've seen a dude roll a dune buggy and then require stitches. He needed hospital attention. So taking a buggy to the moon seems like an extra unnecessary amount of danger that you're adding to the situation. It's like you're putting the astronauts in a great amount of danger that they don't need to be in by adding a fucking moon buggy to the equation. Right? Think about it. Like the chance that somebody dies shoots up drastically by adding moon buggy to the equation. Like, yeah, there's a chance you might crash the moon buggy and pop your spacesuit and fucking die on camera. And it's going to be a great tragedy. And then the other astronauts there are going to have to scoop up your dead astronaut body and bring it back on the lunar module. And you're going to have to try and fly back to Earth with a dead astronaut on your hands. But hey, you get to go moon buggying. The moon buggy is really the stupidest fucking part of the whole thing. Like, where are you going to go? Oh, we're going to go on a trip in the moon buggy. Where? There's nowhere to go. There's no roads. So you have to land on a place that's flat enough where the terrain is able to be traversed by the moon buggy. And of course, they found the perfect spot to land where it's just like nothing but moon sand. They went moon buggying. Everything worked perfect. The whole moon buggy thing went off without a hitch. So again, that's right in line with the Newsbenders clip when they're showing the models, right? You have this like a set, and then you have this remote controlled dune buggy go around in a little circle. Looks like I got a super chat came in from Kreger. He says, wow, great. Let me think on that. Yes, email me, please. Would love to have my very own Ralphie. Thanks a lot. Well, yeah, you mentioned you were interested, and I was talking to the guy who has the new batch of puppies earlier today. So I told him if any of the pups are unclaimed, that I know a guy who donates to my channel, and he seems like a nice guy. So I'll put you in touch with Bruce, and if you want one bad enough and you're willing to go to Kansas to get one, then you might just end up with a Ralphie-looking beagle of your own. I saw some pictures of the beagles. They're really cute. Thank you, Kreger, for the super chat donation, and have a great night. All right. Local Enterprise Broadcasting says it's pronounced Rorschach. Rorschach. Rorschach, baby Rorschach. Rorschach, bye-bye. Going down to the Rorschach, baby. The Rorschach. It's a little old place where me and you can get together. Rorschach, baby. Rorschach, bye-bye. There you go. That didn't need to happen. A Rorschach is a psychological test that uses a set of symmetrical ink blots to assess personality, emotional functioning, and thought processes. Wow, you learn something new every day. I totally did not know that. Did you guys know that? I bet everyone in chat's going to fucking lie and be like, yeah, totally, I knew that. I knew it was a series of symmetrical ink blots to assess personality and emotional functioning. I mean, totally. Who doesn't know that? You didn't know that, Jake? You're stupid. I thought everybody knew that. Thank you very much, Local Enterprise Broadcasting, for educating and informing us all about what a Rorschach is. All right, let me show you guys another example that ties back to that Newsbenders clip that we just watched. The fake nuke footage, the nuke test footage. So in the Newsbenders clip, he was showing models being destroyed and talking about destroying a city, and then they show like a little model being destroyed. So the same thing with the nuke testing. They just blow up some models and detonate some dynamite, and then use some movie style special effects from the time, and they make a fake nuke test video, but they pass it off as if it's real. So here's that old nuke test footage. How did the camera survive the blast, right? So this is like a shot of some dummies inside one of the models, but how did the camera survive? Telling me they like blew up a remote control camera, but it was able to send the footage to like a control center or something. After Skynet went online, the machines took over. There were a series of blasts that leveled everything. All that was left was smoldering wreckage and roaming Terminators. This is how you know nukes are real, you guys. Wait a minute. I see a truck right here. And then I think the truck disappears. Watch, see, we see the truck. Now the truck's gone. So at least the truck survived. That's good to know. I mean, of course that's real nuclear bomb footage. Of course nukes exist. How else would they have this footage? This is what a small child would look like getting blown up by a nuke. If you've ever wondered what a child would look like as they're being incinerated by a nuclear warhead, look no further than what I'm showing you now. Proof nukes are real. Jake, man, are you telling me you don't care about that child? You don't care about that child that just got blown up? Nope, I don't. Jake, man, I thought you were better than this. You don't care about the children on Epstein's Island or that child that just got blown up right there? I thought you were better than this, man. Right? So this ties back to that Newsbenders clip. You just show people some shit like that. If they want proof that the nukes are real, you show them that old test footage. That should suffice. If they want proof that the moon landings are real, you just show them this. See? That's good enough. I got people becoming members and giving away memberships. I like to see that. It says, what do you think of the Afghan Moab strike? I haven't looked into it at all. I can see if there's a video about it. We can look at it right now. Afghan Moab strike, huh? All right. I'll show you what pops up on my end. Raw video Moab strike 8 years ago. You can tell this is going to be some excellent footage, highly detailed, excellent footage. Well, that's definitely some super destructive Moab striking right there. Wow. I don't think I've ever seen such a big explosion before. I'm overwhelmed by the Moab. The mother of all bombs. Thank you, cameraman, for getting this amazing footage. Yeah, that doesn't look like shitty special effects at all. It's funny because, like, I remember like Rambo movies from when I was a kid that looked more realistic than that, right? So you could have spliced in some fucking like Rambo 2 footage or whatever, and it would have looked a bit better than what we just watched. Some Rambo footage from the 80s would have looked a bit better and been more believable. So check it out. All they got to do is show you a big blast. So I would argue that you can take a bunch of dynamite and you can catch a big blast on camera and then just tell people that it's the mother of all bombs and then add some special effects to it, right? And the whole thing could be fake too. So you have to consider that AI was being used, artificially created videos was being used before they let us slaves start using AI to create videos. So this technology where they could spit out a video with AI, they could have been using this a long time ago to dupe us, right? So if they had the layering technology to dupe us with a fake plane hitting a building back in 2001, then in 2017, I'm sure they had some AI capabilities and had some technology that they weren't letting us know about, definitely weren't letting us use it. So now that we can take AI and create all sorts of realistic looking videos of shit that we know isn't real. We have to consider that for the last 20 years, who knows how long, that they've been using the AI technology to create fake videos and dupe us, right? And they just never came out and told us that they had that tech. Right? JP Crisino with a super chat. No message attached, but super chat coming in, which is much appreciated. Fist bumps. JP Crisino, you've donated multiple times tonight, so double fist bumps to you, sir. Hey, if you guys are having fun tonight on a Saturday night, hanging out with me, hook your boy up with some thumbs up love. Like, share, and subscribe, or don't. I'm actually getting sick of warning people about what's going to happen to you if you don't read your Bible every night and say your prayers to Lord Jesus above. The Chinese nano drones, they can and will fly directly up your anus without you even knowing, and they will implant themselves inside the inner lining of Uranus or your urethra, whichever they prefer, and they will create nano AIDS within your body without you even know what's going on. And then you will, in fact, die of nano AIDS. There is no cure from nano AIDS that come from these Chinese nano drones. So if you've ever seen somebody that was healthy one day and then the next day they were sick as a dog and then they died and you didn't know why, they were probably infected with Chinese nano drones. I, of course, vape nothing but the finest organic Bible vape juice. My vape juice is created from holy water and recycled organic Bibles. It, of course, repels the Chinese nano drones. So like, share, and subscribe
if you want to stay up to date with my content or don't. I really don't care. This is Richie from Boston. I'm out.
There you go.
Folks, I did not think that it was true. I thought it was just a conspiracy theory, a rumor that was spreading online. But I have confirmed from a reliable source that there are indeed Chinese nano drones. They're invisible to the naked eye, but apparently they can fly right up your ass and give you nano AIDS. It's just pissing me off, these goddamn frickin' globalists. Seriously, I think I might puke when I found out that these little nano drones could give me nano AIDS, give my friggin' children nano AIDS. Made me want to cry, made me want to puke, made me want to puke and cry at the same time. In fact, I feel like I'm about to cry right now. I feel like I'm getting a little queasy. I feel like I might puke and cry at the same time right now. I'm gonna do it. Wah, wah, boo hoo. Friggin' globalists, friggin'.
There you go. Little Richie from Boston and Alex Jones for free. Don't tell anybody I never gave you nothing. I just donated those impressions for free. Mike 6 says, beatbox before you end this awesome content. Oh, I just did the beatbox bit the other night, but apparently you guys love it so much you want me to do it again before I end the stream. Well, we might have some new people tonight. It might be their first time watching who don't know that I am the world's greatest beatboxer. How many people here tonight have never watched one of my live streams? Do we have any new people here tonight? Better yet, do we have anybody in the house who's never seen me beatbox before? Yeah, I'm asking you guys in chat. Is there anyone here in chat who's never seen me beatbox before? Let me know if you are one of the people who has never seen me beatbox. If everybody has seen me beatbox, then they already know I'm the best in the world times infinity. But there might be some people here who've never seen me beatbox who don't know. Those are the people. Those are the people whose mind I might be willing to blow tonight. All right. So real life finances. I haven't seen you beatbox. Good. Good. I know there's people who might not know this, but I am actually the world's greatest beatboxer. And I'm not even allowed to compete in the international beatboxing championships because I won so many times. So I won so many beatboxing competitions. I won the world championship back to back to back to back to back to back times, to where they told me that from now on, I'm no longer eligible to enter any beatboxing championships because I'm too good. And basically, if I show up to any beatboxing competition, they already know that since I'm so good that the competition's already over. So basically, in order to keep the competition alive for everyone else and give everyone else a chance to win, I'm barred from ever competing in any beatboxing competitions because I am hands down the greatest beatboxer in the world currently, times infinity. So that's the way they keep the beatboxing competitions competitive, to where you don't know who's going to win, because if I showed up, it's automatically over, you see? So that's why I'm not allowed to compete in the beatboxing championships anymore. But I am able to do private exhibitions of my beatboxing skill. In fact, I might be willing for you guys tonight, because you guys have been such an awesome crowd, I might be willing to come out of retirement, because I am a retired beatboxer. I retired as the best in the world. But every once in a while, I like to come out of retirement and prove that I am still the best, better than the rest, times infinity. So tonight, I just might find the motivation to come out of retirement and give you guys a dose of my beatboxing skill and blow every one of your minds out of your asshole. But I'm going to need to see each and every one of you hit the thumbs up button right here, right now. If you guys are going to want to see the greatest beatboxing you've ever seen times infinity, then you're going to need to hit the thumbs up right now. I might need to see infinity thumbs up if you want to see the greatest beatboxing you have ever seen or will ever see. In fact, it might be better than any of the other beatboxing I've ever done. So I may just do the best beatboxing that I have ever done right here tonight live for you. But you're going to need to hit the thumbs up. Here's the thing. I don't know what's going to happen when I start beatboxing. It's like a free-form skill that I have. So I can't tell you exactly what beats I'm going to box. But what I can tell you is the beatboxing that will come from within this body, out of my mouth, will be the greatest, most pleasant noises you have ever heard any human being ever make, times infinity. Yeah. No joke, not kidding. Super duper serious. So are you guys ready? Are you ready to see the greatest beatboxing anyone has ever fathomed? Then you're going to need to hit the thumbs up button. I'm going to need to see a few more thumbs up. Otherwise, I'm not even going to consider coming out of retirement. Come on. Do the right thing. Hit the thumbs up. Okay. Okay, I'm seeing the thumbs up start to increase. You guys are showing enough enthusiasm that I have decided I am going to come out of retirement and bless you all tonight with the greatest beatboxing you have ever seen in the history of your life, times infinity. Are you guys ready? I'm going to need total silence. I need total silence from everybody watching right now. Yeah, I'm not going to start beatboxing until every one of you shuts up and is totally silent. I'm going to wait for total silence. Okay. All right. The people who tuned out and aren't sticking around, they're going to miss out on a show of a lifetime. Those of you sticking around, expect your mind to be blown straight out of your asshole times infinity. Are you ready? Is everybody ready? Okay. All right. Here we go. Ta-da! Best you've ever seen in the world times infinity. I know. That was like probably the best one I ever did. That might be like top 3, one of the best beatboxes you've ever seen, right? I know. Now you guys see why I'm not allowed in any of the beatboxing competitions. Because I'm so good, right? Yeah, whenever I show up to a beatboxing competition, they're like, no, you're not allowed to join because you're too good. Please leave. I'm like, yes, I know. Best in the world, right here. All right. There you go. Beatboxing joke. Whew. There's a whole lot of setup to that joke. It's like I have to set the joke up just enough to where when I start making all those stupid noises, it's considered funny. There you go, the beatbox joke. Just for you guys. Bro needs a hug. I do. After that beatboxing that I just did, I'm going to need you all to come in and collectively give me a hug. Bro needs one. I'm bro. Come on, bring it in. Give bro a hug. There you go. I just gave you guys a cyber hug. Bro needed one. You're kidding. I'm kidding. How can you be kidding if I'm the one who's kidding? Oh, thank you, Lintaway. I appreciate it. This is how Jake keeps the people that want to hear the truth, eliminates the people who don't believe the scripts. That's right. My beatboxing is how I control who hears the truth and who doesn't, and who deserves to hear the truth and who doesn't. Right. Those who put up with my ridiculous beatboxing are worthy of my truth nuggets. Those who switch away when I'm trying to do my awesome beatboxing, they do not deserve my pearls of wisdom. That's right. All right, Mike 6 sent in another donation. One sec, let me go back and grab your donation. Oh, he's asking about Richard Pryor. I haven't worked on a Richard Pryor impersonation. If I probably spent 15, 20 minutes watching some old Pryor footage, I might be able to come up with something. 8:45. Here it is. From Mike 6. He said, next time, Richard Pryor. All right, I'll write it down in my notes that you want Richard Pryor. You know what movie was funny in the 80s? But if you go back and watch it now, it's weird and kind of inappropriate. The Toy. Any of you guys remember the movie The Toy? Richard Pryor in this movie called The Toy. It was like late 80s, I want to say, mid 80s. He is in like a toy store screwing around with some toys for whatever reason. And then this rich kid sees him playing with the toys in the toy store. And they tell this rich kid, oh, you can have anything you want in the entire store because you're so rich. And the kid points at the black man. He points at Richard Pryor and he goes, I want that. I want that black man. So the premise of the movie is that Richard Pryor is hired to be the toy of a rich child. Yeah, hired to be the play object of a child. Yeah. It was a weird movie. In fact, maybe I can find a little clip. From the 82.
In these difficult times, some people will do anything to find a job. But if you're in the right place, at the right time, there's no telling how far you can go.
You're very strong for a little lady. And you have a lot of hair on your lip.
This time, Jack Brown is about to go too far.
I want him.
He's not to say it.
Daddy said anything I wanted, anything in the store. Wrap him up.
The Toy.
Are you crazy?
Starring Richard Pryor and Jackie Gleason.
What do you need?
Well, let's start at 1,000. We'll work our way up from there.
1,000 is highway robbery.
2,000. 2,500.
That kind of money, if Eric blows his nose, you wipe it.
$3,000.
That's a deal.
You're going to pay me $3,000 to be a toy for a child? I don't know, man. That sounds crazy. You want me to be a child toy? I'll have to work on it a little bit. I haven't sat and watched Richard Pryor comedy in a while. So if I was going to work on the voice, I'd have to like dedicate some time to it. I might be able to have it ready for you next stream. Thank you very much, Mike 6, for the donation and the donations earlier. I wrote down Richard Pryor. I'll try and remember to do a Richard Pryor impression next stream. J. Jake. Okay. The franchise says, bruh, I'll take a cool millie and I'll be anyone's bitch. Oh, good to know. If anyone's looking for a bitch, it only costs a cool millie. The franchise 69 is your man. Anyone out there in the market for a bitch? Here's one right here. Only going to cost you a cool millie. I'm sure someone in my audience has a cool millie hanging around that they're looking to spend on a bitch. But you have to be a quality bitch, not one of those cheap-ass, hoe-ass bitches. You have to be a quality, top-notch, top-shelf bitch. Whatever that means. I'll take a warm millie. A warm millie? All right, I got through all the stuff I was planning on talking about tonight. The Newsbenders clip and the Epstein files junk that we started the show with. So for those of you who missed the first part of the stream, I talked a bit about the Epstein files story and how I don't give a shit about it and I don't believe in it. Then I showed some clips of Trump trailing off and making incoherent statements. Made fun of him for a while. And then we showed the Newsbenders clip and some other clips. It's been a pretty good show. Hey, if you guys had a good time tonight, hook your boy up before you leave, before we call it a night. Do me the honor of hitting the thumbs up button if you haven't done it already. I think all of you should hit the thumbs up button. I really do. I mean, what reason do you have to not hit the thumbs up button? You don't. You don't have any reason. Mike 6 says, you never wear the hat. That's not true. I wore it like a couple streams ago. And just to prove you wrong, boom, it's back. The hat is back, so lick my sack. You were wrong and you are very black. Dead loose from the noose. You're wrong and you are very black. See? Yeah, never just came and went, didn't it? Yeah, remember how I never wore the hat and I never wear it anymore? Yeah, what now, Mike? LaFleur says, thanks, Jake. Join me in the lair tomorrow. LaFleur Network, please subscribe. What time are you going to go live tomorrow? I might be able to pop in for a quick guest appearance. If I'm not doing nothing and I see that you're live tomorrow, I might just pop in and say hi. Thank you, Davey D, for the multiple donations tonight. You are a very loyal subscriber and moderator. And you're always keeping the positivity flowing in your super chats, telling people to hit the thumbs up. Much appreciated. Hell yeah. Mike says, badass, love the hat. Yeah, sometimes I just don't feel like wearing it And I want to have certain streams where I don't wear it, and then other times I'll wear it. So that way it's like something that I can do more like on special occasions, like when someone says that I don't wear the hat anymore, then I can put it on. Be like, see, I wear it. But then other times when I just want to talk about a subject and be a bit more serious, then I can have the hat in the background and just show off my new haircut instead, right? Because I just got a haircut recently. So it was more like I was trying to show off the new haircut rather than keep you guys from seeing me in the hat. Have a drink on me! Have a drink on me and take a pee! Slipping to the left and now slipping to the right! TNT! Oi! Oi! Dynamite! She's got the jack! There you go. Little AC/DC for that ass before we call it a night. Oh, thanks, Mike. Benjamin Graham Videos said the NFL is very real. I'm guessing that you're being sarcastic. Anyone who's going to send me money and say that the NFL is very real, I'm thinking that you are being sarcastic. I hope for your sake that you're joking. Either that or you're trying to get me triggered. No, it's not. The NFL's fake, man. Screw you if you think it's real. Thank you, Benjamin Graham Videos, for your sarcastic joke. All right. Well, I guess it's about time to wrap it up then, huh? We've been on here for about 3 hours, and before I go, Mike 6 says, it's sake. It's really fake. It's sake. It's really fake. I think he meant to say it's fake. It's really fake. Yes, it is fake. It is really fake. I'm pretty sure that guy was just joking around. I doubt he's going to send me a super chat and disagree with me that the NFL isn't fake. Thank you, Mike 6, for your multiple super chats tonight. I appreciate it. All right, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. I really appreciate you all being here. And if you haven't hit the thumbs up button yet, before you go, hit the thumbs up button. Looks like you guys are sending me some super chats, trying to keep me around a little longer, huh? So loved the off-the-cuff AC/DC. Well, you shook me all night long. Every second that you shook me all night long. Yeah, you shook me when you took me all night long. There you go. That's how we're going to end the show. Little AC/DC encore for Joey EEGG. All right, guys. Have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy your fake phony football games tomorrow if you choose to watch that scripted bullshit. And I'll catch you guys in the next video or the next live stream. Good night. Peace out. Bye-bye. Love you guys. Oh, just before I shut it off, there's a super chat coming in. Said, what do you call a lesbian with braces? A box cutter. Braping. All right. Lesbian joke to finish off the show. Awesome. Thank you very much, Daniel Hawthorne, finishing up the stream with some lesbian humor. Lesby friends. All right, guys, that's it. Good night. Bye-bye.